Good morning, Field Bio. We're going to begin a new unit today, and when I say new, I mean totally new. This is a unit that it's a work in progress. We'll start pretty basically today, but I'll give you the background first on why I'm choosing this unit. So, as you recall, in the fall we had some bird material that we learned. We learned ducks. We learned the upland birds of North Dakota, and now this year with the quarantine and COVID-19 and all of that, and cancellation of the track season and distance learning, this is the first year in 18 years that I've actually been home in the spring, because typically my day in the spring consists of getting up in the morning, going to school, teaching, going to track practice, getting home late, supper time or after supper time, and then I'm just mentally shot. Eat supper, work on some track paperwork or school work, go to bed, and put that on repeat for 13 weeks. So I don't really have it never felt like I had the chance to kind of see my yard come into life in the spring. Okay, winter would come, yard work would get behind, school would get out for the year, and then summer, here's my yard, and I'm just looking at it, and it's kind of a mess and stuff. So one silver lining of this year, this odd 2020 spring, is that I've been able to be home watching my yard come to life after winter. So I've got to see the grass green up. I'm watching the trees bud out and starting to form their leaves. And I've also been really into watching birds. And started off with the robins that come in, and usually we see a robin and we say it's the first sign of spring. But my daughter and I, we always kind of made fun of robins because they were they just seemed like kind of weird birds. We call them dumb robins because they seem so kind of dumb. But as I started to watch them this year, I started to notice they're actually a lot cooler than I've given them credit for. So I started paying attention to how they hunt for worms, the different noises that they make, and just yesterday I put up a couple of bird houses that my kids made as when they were really young, and we just had them on a shelf in the garage, just sitting there, and I thought, let's put them to use. So I hung those up, and I've been really into lately just kind of paying attention to the different birds, the noises they make, the way they interact and things. And so we're going to begin a unit here. So just bear with me. It's really bare bones right now. Today I'm going to give you this website, and I want you to read through it. So let's take a look here. It's called Nature Mentoring, and as I investigate, there's a lot more on this website than I thought initially. Or on this, there's a whole bunch of different articles and stuff. So we'll investigate this. But this one is the one we're going to start with, and it talks about bird language and what they say. And please read this very thoroughly and carefully, because it talks about how birds' language is not unlike our body language, okay? And so this paragraph kind of really makes it sink in. So it says, one of my bird language teachers explained it like this. Imagine you're in a foreign country where you don't speak the language or understand anything the locals say. Suddenly you see a huge mob of people all screaming and running for their lives. Every single person understands what's the message there, right? We know it's danger. We don't need to know the words they're using. Okay, we understand the feeling that is given out, and that's pretty important. A lot of our communication is nonverbal, right? You interacting with your teachers in class or your fellow classmates, sometimes a lot can be said with 0 words. And so it talks about here eye contact, personal space, tone of voice, body language, emotion, and energy. So please read through this entire website. It's going to give us a little bit of an insight. There's a robin, okay? And notice here it says, the American robin is one of the best teachers of bird language because they're extremely common and they have a wide variety of calls. So this time of year, robins are establishing their territories and getting ready to for breeding and laying eggs. That should be happening very soon as far as laying eggs. And it seems like every American yard or whatnot has a robin living in it, residing in that yard as in their mind, their property, right? So go ahead, take a look at this website. I'll put the link here. There'll be other links coming. I will try to group those. Bear with me. I am learning still about Google Classroom. I'm not great at it yet, but bear with me. And then there'll be, in the near future, there'll be some assignments or quizzes, multiple choice things where you'll have to answer some questions based off some of the websites. Okay, but the real thing that I want to do here is we're going to do a bird observation log. And this log, you all won't have your own log. We're going to share this. Hopefully we can share it amongst both classes at the same time so we can all add to this. And so, expect some changes, expect some beautification, if that's a word, of the log. Right now it's really just very simple. It's just a grid. But notice here we have 4 tabs. Okay, we have calls, actions, flight, and then nest. Okay, and we may add more. Okay, if you have any ideas or other categories that you think would be applicable, please send me an email, or even you can add a page in here. You just hit plus and add one. Okay, and you can copy and paste the grid and change the wording on there. Okay, just make sure we're not losing any information that kids submit. Okay, so calls. And I don't know yet if this is the order I want. I'm guessing I'm going to have some times where I may move some stuff around here. Like I said, this is the first time doing a unit like this. So name of observer, that's you. Okay, so I'll just show you here. Okay, name of bird. Now here's where you may need to do some research because, I don't expect that you know the names of all birds around and stuff. So I'll give you some resources. I think you guys are intelligent enough to, go online and find a way to tell what birds are. There's probably apps out there. I mean, I'm more of a book guy. I get out a bird book, which I do have here at home, and look it up that way, but there's probably much quicker ways to do it, and that's fine. Okay, so you can use an app. So let's just say I saw an American robin. Okay, and the description of the sound, they have what they call, and in that website I showed you, I think it's called a dawn song. Okay, and you've probably all heard it, kind of an up and down, high low song that the robins sing from their tree or perched on top of a roof or something like that. But maybe you don't know the official term of the song, and maybe there isn't one, so you could just describe it. You could say lengthily, up and down. Use some descriptions that okay. So I think eventually maybe we can make a list of words that can be used for describing sounds. Okay, if that makes sense. Male or female. Some birds you can tell, male and female, and actually I think most you can. Well, you guys know, like Canada geese, for instance, it's pretty tough, but other birds, it's easy. So if you can put that. Maybe I think it's a female. Maybe I don't know. Okay, and if you don't know, you just put a question mark. Time of day, it could be something like morning, midday, evening. You can put the exact time. Other notes could be anything else you're observing. Is the bird responding to a human activity? Is it responding to another animal or something like that? Okay. All right, I'm going to delete that so it's not there. Okay. Actions. Actions could be them feeding. It could be them courting, with a male and a female courting. Could be them interacting with their young, okay, as they start having offspring here in the next month. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to observe that before school's done. Okay. Flight, how they fly, and the big thing here is flight pattern. So, what's the height they fly at? I mean, is it human eye level? 5 feet? Is it, and just estimate. I mean, is it as high as the roof of your house? 20 feet. The speed, which I don't expect you to get exact numbers there, but is it more like a rolling hill type pattern? I'll use my cursor here, like, do they kind of go like this when they fly? Or is it a straight line, like line drive baseball? Okay. Cadence of their wings, is it an intense flapping? Is it a flapping and a pausing and a flapping? Is it all soaring? Okay, there's different ways that birds can fly. And then we'll do nesting too. So if you have trees in your yards, shrubs in your yards, it's possible that you'll have a bird that nests on your property, okay? Or maybe even on your neighbor's property, okay? And so, maybe let your neighbors know what you're doing in case they see you, like, looking at their yard all day or something. I don't expect you to do it all day, but you get the idea. And even it could be old nests too. I found an oriole nest out at my mom's place here the other day when I was out at her farm, and oriole nests are pretty cool. So expect some information on nests and stuff here as we get into this. So anyway, here's the log. So I want you to read that website, kind of get into the feel for what we're going to be doing here, and then do some observing. Start watching outside in your yard. Start trying to figure out what you may have in your area as far as birds. Very fitting here. As I was making my coffee this morning after I got out of bed, there was a talk show on TV, and they were actually talking about how bird watching has really picked up here due to the COVID-19 and the quarantine, because people are stuck at home and they're looking for stuff to do. And I mean, it's exactly what happened to me. So I kind of laughed and chuckled at that, because I'm like, oh, I'm introducing that to my kids today. So really neat in that way. Okay. I know some of you may not have, everyone's property is a little bit different. So if you are, if you live in an apartment, it might be a little harder, but you should still be able to see some things, because birds are pretty good at finding small areas to live in. Okay. Some of you that may live out in the country, you've got it made. You're going to see all kinds of stuff. So I want to see people contributing to this. I'm thinking here on how we're going to grade your things that you put in here. So don't fret about that right now. Don't think, oh my gosh, I'm going to fail the course because I didn't submit something, or I didn't submit as much as others. That won't be the case. Okay. But hopefully we can all learn from this and pick up some skills that we can use later in life and things like that. So, all right. I'll let you guys go. We'll try to Zoom next week sometime, either Monday or Tuesday or Thursday just to touch base. All right. Take care, guys.